You're live. You might be live. You're live and you're running late. Okay. Well, a while ago, I had tried to do weekly Sunday morning boot reviews and, of course, ran out of new boots to talk about or hadn't worn a lot of them all that much. But back when I had viewers, I don't know, I had done other boot videos that I thought would like break the internet and didn't attract any attention at all. So hopefully some of you will bother to watch this one. Obviously, in the thumbnail, I did not use the boots that I couldn't photograph because they're still in the box. Kind of funny how that works. Pesky side note, UPS stuck the sticker here and then circled it, so it kind of messed up my writing. Fortunately, they didn't damage it too bad that I can't still read it. So style lace up 55 last, which is similar last to at least two pairs that I have already. Height 10 inches, same as the most of the ones that I've ordered MTO. So, you know, not exactly earth shattering here. The difference, or the big difference for ordering this particular pair, will be color, which is not necessarily so much the color as the different type of leather. So what I was looking at, and I don't have them all in here, I did bring in these. This is supposedly the mahogany, which I think was just one of the work leathers. I don't know if it's dark enough to be truly considered a mahogany, but it is a slightly more reddish and a little bit darker shade than the standard 64 brown when I hold them next to each other, which I've done in a previous video, so I'm not going to go through all that again now. This, of course, is the Packer boot that I bought. That's the less cowboy style Packer boot. I got the wider toe in the but I still did get the cowboy heel, so not exactly great for hiking boot, not necessarily great for a walking boot, but overall just a usable casual boot. So that's the one I brought in here to do the comparison. And then I have some kilties that I don't know which boots they were supposed to go to. One pair I had ordered. This is the Packer style, so I think that's the one that originally came with that boot before I got the tall ones that you can see flopping around. It doesn't come with this. You have to order this separately for like 12 bucks or whatever. So that's the correct Packer style one, whereas this is the logger style one. And at some point they had sent me the wrong one and I had to reorder. But I don't think any of the, and so I got an extra, but I don't think any of these are the ones that go with this, because the shorter ones should still be in here, but the taller ones I ordered separate. I'll show them off later. One of them should be correct to go with this. But I'm not sure. I think they sent me the wrong ones at some point of this also. So one of these, oh no, because that's a Packer, or I'm sorry, a logger in there. So that was another pair that they sent me that was wrong. So I had to reorder one of these pairs. I don't know. To get the Packer style. And then this pair is wrong. This pair is the logger style that I think was supposed to go with the Packer boots that I got in January, which was a separate video from this and a separate video from the logger boots and blah, blah, blah. So I don't even know if I have the correct kilties here or not, or which colored leather this is, because I don't remember. I mean, it says it on the box. So I'm keeping that secret for the reveal, sort of. But anyway, so the one pair I had ordered was the pretty kind of yellowish leather. And so I was trying to match that one, I think this one with that. And I had gotten the more pointy toe and the embellishment here, even though I didn't like the way they did the top on the one boot. The other one was more correctly centered. But a second pair of Packer boots for less casual cowboy use, whatever that could possibly mean. But just a nicer upgrade, but definitely not in a work leather. And hadn't had a chance to wear those a lot yet to really test them out. So you can see I'm opening the carton, remove the packing tape. I'm not going to show the top too much, but there's a carry handle here next to the UPS label. And of course, I don't expect there to be very much frills in the box, probably just some paper, and trying to do this on camera as much as possible without going backwards. Okay. So there, yeah, there's backing paper. And so here we have boot one. Here we have boot two. And there seems to be nothing else loose in the box, but there might be some stuff in the boot. Right here rattling around a little bit. So let's back up slightly for those of you who are not totally familiar. Basically the same kind of stitch down double row construction, and I prefer, these are the speed hooks. I prefer eyelets typically. This is a pull tab. It's also optional, but with a taller boot. Typically, yes, the leather laces typically. So I'm doing kind of a rundown. And of course, on the bottom, what you can see with the curvature for the extra arch support. Now, what I didn't mention yet, yes, I used a different boot entirely, a different boot company entirely for the thumbnail because I was lazy. But last year, at whatever point, a lot of video creators were really hyping the Russell Moccasins. And there was 2 or 3 different models. One model looked appealing, the others didn't. So I was kind of on the fence of if I should order some of those this year. And this was before I decided that I was going to literally do basically a no buy year this year. Of course, I haven't totally done that because if you're one of the 3 people who watched my Stacey Adams shoe videos, you know I already ordered shoes, and you know that I ordered these pants and, and some underwear and things. So it hasn't been completely a no buy year. But I have not bought any Russell moccasins, and so can't actually do a head-to-head review with these and those. But the Russell moccasins would have cost about the same as these, but without the arch support, being the main key component for that, which I'm trying to replace a fair amount of my footwear with that, especially if I'm doing sort of more strenuous activity like hiking or whatever, where I know I'm going to be on my feet and that kind of thing. I did buy some of those foam insert things and put them in one of the pairs of boots with kind of a mixed reaction. They were definitely, I think I felt like my feet had less pain overall maybe when I got home, but walking in them was a challenge where it was just really not comfortable. People talk about needing to break something like this in where the leather and the feet have to conform a little bit. I haven't so much had that problem, but it is a lot of stiff leather when you first wear them. So if you're not used to that, and different brands fit slightly different in that regard. Like I said, I had a lot more difficulty with the whites boots from one model to the next than with the niegh boots. So I had been pretty pleased with the niegh boots overall. So when I did my video in January about, I don't know how many more niegh boots I'm going to buy, it was kind of supposed to be kind of a joke because I thought in March I was going to be saying, oh, well, I just bought more, but I had actually ordered them back in November. But the lead times last year when I was ordering boots seemed to be around 4 months, which seemed not too terrible. Whereas these, it's literally been almost 7 months already. So that's a long time to wait. And every single week I have been getting emails about, buy this boot and we'll ship it to you sooner. And it's like, well, that's kind of undercutting your older or customers who are willing to spend more. It's kind of an insult, right? But they want to attract newer customers or whatever who aren't willing to pay the extra for the more custom things or whatever. Like these, I think specifically I had waited longer for this leather or whatever it was instead of doing the quick ship. Maybe I forget. What was one pair where it was something or something. And like I said, the leather isn't even that much different, but it might not have been these because this was an overstock leather. I don't remember. But one of those two pair, these ones are the bison ones that nobody watched that video at all. I had definitely waited the extra, or maybe it was both. I think the original logger, they're not in here. I don't know why I keep looking as if they're in here. The original logger ones, I think I had done the quick ship because I wasn't sure about the sizing and all that. And then when I did these, I was a little more confident about the sizing. Then when I did those other ones in January, I was less confident about the sizing, and they are very narrow and kind of too small slightly, but I didn't bother to return them because, again, I'm not using those for a daily boot, whereas these now are definitely more geared toward, and these, some point, if I really, really feel like it, I can always replace this COWBOY sole with a more hiking friendly sole, and the height will still be about the same, and the base surface area isn't that much bigger on the logger boot really. But if you wanted a little bit more stability, I could swap this out for a logger style heel because, again, this is a pretty wide toe and it doesn't really look that much like a COWBOY boot anyway. So eventually, if I wear out those other ones, I can convert these ones, blah, blah, blah. These, again, I was getting more for the utility use, but I still didn't want to go with the work leather. I wanted an upgrade. I realize I've been talking for quite a while without actually showing the boots, but if you were really, 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 really concerned, you would have skipped ahead anyway. To where obviously I was getting ready to show the okay, so what we have is the Italian brown cypress, which now I had watched a guy's video where he has done a whole lot of leathers comparing how they're supposed to my title card here, how they're supposed to kind of age, and he did it over only a period of 6 months, which is not really that long for a heavy-duty boot like this. But guys like this, they get way more views on their videos than I do, and they only buy the boots to wear them to the office, and so they're really not necessarily guys who have worn boots as much as I have, anywhere near as extensively or whatever, or necessarily know what they're looking for apart from they just want something that isn't their usual office work shoes. I don't know. So anyway, so once again, I got the logger outsole with the honey Vibram instead of the black because it's just way more comfortable for me. And I'm not worried if they last as long, and I'm not typically walking on ice and such. I had asked for the moc-toe, which I guess I should be saving this video for October, but here we are. But again, instead of the Russell, I decided to get that on this. Now, this is not going to be a two-piece or any of that kind of stitch. This is just ornament, decorative or whatever style. So I don't know how it's going to feel, because I also have the Thorogood ones that I could convert to a more hiking sole than the wedge sole, and probably will eventually, but then they still won't have the extra arch support, which you can see the curvature here, which of course is the whole point for me spending the extra money, because again, I'm trying to convert to more of the arch support thing. How they're going to fit, I don't know, because I didn't go with the wide toe or whatever this time. I went with the standard toe, and so this might make the toe a little bit more narrow than the standard logger fit, but I was reasonably happy, like I said, with the original 55 that I got, and then this one being not the same. Not the same exact style of toe, but more or less. It should be all right. Yeah. This is around this. I mean, it's a wide, but it's not that much wider than the regular logger toe, whatever you want to call it. So you got the stitch down construction, of course, on the front there, the double row, and then you got the gusset tongue here, which is the whole point of these doohickeys, which again, this might be the correct ones for this. I'm not positive. I think this is for the other Packer boots, but it is a lighter color, so I could be wrong. But this one is the one where it's supposed to kind of scrape and fold and make the right color. And there was another color that I think would have worked just as well or better, but then there was another color that was only available in the boot. You couldn't actually get the kilties in that, so we were trying to match with the, and I'm not sure if that was this or not. Because the other option they had was the Wicket and Craig leathers, which I was actually super eager to check one of those out until I found out there was an extra $200 surcharge. And it was like, no, I was buying these because it was Black Friday special pricing, not because I wanted to spend $900+ on a pair of boots right then. So this was actually an extravagant extra purchase already. So I definitely went to the less expensive but not work leather. And so they'll be a little bit thinner, but this doesn't feel that much thinner. It feels about the same. I assumed a bit the other ones that I have, the other Packer boots that aren't these ones, the prettier color ones, they are a bit thinner than this leather. A little bit scuffed, but that's kind of what reveals the pretty marbling texture and all that is, I guess, kind of the idea. Yada, yada, yada. So how these will wear in, I don't know. So you can see they have a little bit of creasing and whatnot even before I've even put them on. That's supposed to be part of the charm. We'll see how they look in, a few months, although it's not even July yet, so we're not even in the hot months yet. So how much I'm going to wear these anytime soon, Unfortunately, like if they had come in March or whatever, like I expected, I was just going to throw them. Okay, so this is what came with this, which is not Packer or logger. I thought these would come with logger. Maybe I mentioned this. I don't know. I had ordered something when I got a special deal, and the guy was all mad because I got the extra pair of socks, and it was only supposed to be one pair of socks per customer or whatever the deal was. Different stickers than the other sticker. Oh yeah, it's down here in the toe. Okay, so you got your cream. I have like 3 of these now and haven't used any of them yet. So other boot. So you can see the stitch. I didn't really show the bottom of the other one that much, but I didn't notice anything significant off with the stitching. Isn't really key to the holding them on or whatever, I guess, anyway. So that's supposed to just kind of wear down. So yeah, we still have some kind of marking and stuff where they've manhandled it a little bit or whatever in the production. And I didn't really show the backstay, did I? No. So the backstays, let's look it up. See what we got here. If they look kind of the same or somewhere. So obviously, again, I got the pull tabs. Obviously, again, I got the no roll on the top. Which boot was it? That was the boot I showed first. Obviously, again, I got the all eyelets, which other guys complain, oh, it takes 30 extra seconds to lace up my boots. It's like, yeah, but I like the look of it better. I like the security of it better. The gusset, not too flimsy. So it can take a little while for the fold to kind of, it's the same material as the other one. So I tend to start wearing them without the inserts and kind of let them conform a little bit first and then put the inserts in after it's been a little while. Like these ones, I already switched to the tall inserts, but I haven't been wearing them all that much. So this month, maybe I'll try and wear those, even though it's going to be hot, just to break them in a little bit in the warm weather. Whereas again, these I might definitely try and take a walk in them later, just to check the fit. But you know, 10-inch boots, and it's less than 100 degrees here today. Some of you are experiencing worse, so at least I don't have humidity. But yeah, it's definitely not going to be a priority to go get sweaty and walk around all day. Oh, and I found the hat that I was crowing about in the previous video too, that I didn't know where it was gone. So that's basically what I'm after in a hiking / work boot. Although again, if I'm spending this much money on a work boot, I have other cheaper ones that I'm gonna, you know, destroy first. If I'm doing anything ridiculous around the house, obviously I'm going to try and keep this looking a little bit more pretty, a little bit longer. And then of course this is the grain on the back of that, which doesn't really inform what this will look like after a bit of use. But again, I will likely be taking this and putting them in a pair of the Truman boots instead, because I have other ones that make a lot more sense with the this and the this. Although I don't necessarily need an ornamenty thing there, and the points can scratch this. So maybe that's why they included this style instead. Because maybe this leather is more prone to looking scratched up. I don't really know. And I don't think there was too different of a surcharge from this leather too. Excuse me, the work leather. Whereas again, the Wicked and Craig, there was definitely a significant upcharge of that. For what the difference of that and this is, I don't know. But again, the difference with this and the Russell, for sure, was the arch support, which, I mean, you can't really see anything like that. When I try to shoot down in there with the light, you can't see anything at all. I know I've tried to do these kind of things before. Like, it's a black hole. I guarantee you there's a footbed in there that is just leather, and it's a half. Again, I've asked for them to do a full lining, and they just absolutely refuse. I know there's been at least 3 of these pairs that I asked for a full liner, and they don't give me one. So as far as chasing away your existing customers, I think that was one of the things I was really annoyed with in January, and I'm not too surprised now. So once again, I'm questioning whether or not will be happier doing something else with a different boot company in the future or not. But I already ordered these to get the sale price when I was debating ordering a pair of, again, Russell and or a pair of Franks. But the Franks, yeah, definitely. Supposedly they offer way more different leathers, but it was hard for me to navigate some of the menu and figure out exactly what I might want, because a lot of the things were, odd things that are exotic, like shark skin or whatever, that's not terribly high on my bucket list, And so, like I said, to try these out just to get this different style and color, slightly different color. I mean, again, the color doesn't look that much different here, but as they break in, we'll see. But again, the other pair being more of a yellow, kind of light, none of these being quite a real dark brown that I actually wanted. So I don't know what Frank's offers that's more like that, because this is obviously not going to age darker, or at least I would assume not, when I'm already seeing more of the reddish kind of coming through, and the yellowish reddish in the where they've done this work has caused all this premature aging that gives it some character. But like I said, we're going lighter, we're going more orange, again. So I'm gonna have 3 pairs of boots that are all kind of orangey. The bison ones being the little bit darker color, but also kind of a reddish. And I don't have those in here, but if you're one of the 3 people who watched that video, then you already know. And if not, then you can go back and watch that video. So this has kind of been a long video, but I don't care, because I haven't done a boot video in a while, and want to be as thorough as possible. I don't know what else I need to really show, but that's, the stitching across the top and the thing and the thing, and let me show each boot a little bit. And again, not a wear review because I haven't worn them. I haven't even tried them on. I assume they fit because the other ones fit. So I guess that's about the size of it. So yeah, I did talk to Frank's on the phone a couple times, and they won't rebuild some of the things that I had thought or hoped they might. So that was kind of a problem. So if I could have done that, I might have spent the money doing something like that instead of just buying another pair of boots. But since most of my other moc-toe boots, again, are not anything I would consider terribly high quality, some will last longer than others. Most of them I got for less than $200, so it doesn't really matter. But I do like the look of it. So that was what I decided to do. Let's get these more custom ones made, and we'll see how they wear in and all that later, and hopefully have an update. I don't know, maybe before Christmas. How long does it take to get them to look aged or something? I don't know. Okay, so that'll be that then, I guess, for today. We'll be signing off. And you can always go back and watch my summer reset video if you're interested in whatever that was all about, and more dressy shoes and whatever. As always, if you have any questions, I almost forgot, please feel free to put them in the comments, and any legitimate questions, I'll try to get back to you in a coherent and timely manner. And although I might have answered a lot of those questions in some of these previous videos, you can check some of those out. And happy Sunday.